I still can't believe he's gone, I whispered, staring at my father's closed coffin. My voice cracked, but Adam didn't even glance at me. He just adjusted his tie and muttered, "He was sick for years, Ethan. You should have seen it coming." "I did," I said quietly. "I just didn't expect to lose him and our family all at once." Adam sighed. "You're always dramatic." "It's a funeral, not a movie." I clenched my jaw, my grief twisting into something darker. That was Adam cold, perfect, untouchable. Even now, when the lawyer called us into the office a week later, I tried to stay calm. The smell of leather and old paper made the air heavy. I sat across from Adam, my hands sweating. The lawyer cleared his throat. "As per your father's revised will, the house on Maple Street will go to Adam Miller." My heart stopped. "Wait," I said, "what about me?" The lawyer flipped through the papers. "It seems your father transferred ownership before his passing. Everything else savings insurance was used for medical expenses." I turned to Adam. "You convinced him to sign it over, didn't you?" He shrugged, voice cold. "He made his choice. I just helped with the paperwork." "You manipulated him," I said, my voice rising. "You knew he was sick." Adam leaned back, smirking. "You always think people are victims, Ethan. Maybe you should grow up." I stood so fast the chair scraped the floor. "You took everything." "No," he said calmly. "I took responsibility." "You were too busy chasing dreams?" "Dreams?" I snapped. "You mean working 2 jobs so Dad could get treatment?" He didn't answer. He just looked at me, the way he always did, like I was small. The lawyer tried to intervene. "Gentlemen, please," but I was already walking out. My chest burned, my hands trembling. I heard Adam call after me, "You were never meant to stay in that house anyway." Outside, the wind hit my face, sharp and cold. I leaned against the wall, gasping for air. That house wasn't just wood and bricks. It was where Mom taught me to ride my bike, where Dad read bedtime stories, where Adam and I carved our initials into the porch. And now it was gone. Just like them, I went back one last time that night. The lights were off, but I had my old key. I stood in the living room, surrounded by silence. Every memory hurt. The faint smell of Mom's lavender candles lingered. I whispered, "I'm sorry, Mom. I couldn't protect it." A floorboard creaked behind me. Adam's voice cut through the dark. "What are you doing here?" "I came to say goodbye." "You're pathetic," he said. "You think life's fair? It's not. Dad trusted me to handle things. You were always too soft." I turned to face him. "Soft doesn't mean weak," scoffed. "Keep telling yourself that." "Why, Adam?" I asked, my voice breaking. "You already had everything's approval, the business, the respect. Why take this too?" His jaw tightened. "Because I earned it. You were just the kid with dreams and excuses." I stared at him for a long moment. "One day you'll regret this." "Doubt it," he said. "Now leave before I call the cops." I walked out without another word. Outside, the air felt colder. My car was parked under the same oak tree where we used to play. I sat inside, gripping the steering wheel, and whispered to myself, "He can have the house, but I'll build something bigger." My phone buzzed. Liam, my old friend. "Hey man, I heard about your dad. You okay?" "No," I said honestly, "but I will be. You need a place to crash." "My cousin's renting a room in the city." I looked back at the dark outline of the house. The windows glowed faintly from Adam's shadow moving inside. "Yeah," I said. "Text me the address." "I'm done here." "You sure?" Liam asked completely. I started the engine, headlights cutting through the night. My hands still shook, but a strange calm settled in me. I wasn't running away. I was leaving to come back stronger as the town disappeared behind me. I whispered a promise into the quiet car. "I'll make something of myself. And when I do, he'll remember this day." The day he took everything in, the day I began taking it back. "Rent's due Friday," the landlord said, leaning on the doorway of the tiny apartment. "I know, Mrs. Hayes. I'm working extra shifts this week," she sighed. "You always say that, Ethan? You eat enough?" "Barely," I said, forcing a smile. "But I'm alive." When she left, I sat on the edge of the bed. The springs squeaked under my weight. My backpack lay open, stuffed with tools and a notebook filled with renovation sketches. My hands were calloused, cracked from paint and cement. But they were mine-proof that I was building something, even if no one saw it yet. Liam called that night. "You sound dead, man." "I'm fine," I lied. "Still working that warehouse job?" "Yeah. Day shift at the store. Nights fixing up apartments for cash. Sleep. Optional." He laughed softly. "You're crazy, maybe," I said. But every time I want to quit, I remember Adam's face at the lawyer's office. That smirk. "It keeps me going. Revenge fuel," he said. Classic Ethan. "I'm not after revenge," I said quietly. "I just want to build something that's mine." The next morning, Mrs. Hayes knocked again, holding a cup of coffee. "You look like you wrestled a storm." "Feels about right." She handed me the cup. "You remind me of my husband. He used to rebuild houses too. Said walls remember kindness." I smiled faintly. "Then this one must be forgetful." She chuckled. "Start with yourself, boy. Kindness sticks better there." Days blurred into months. I fixed broken doors, scraped paint, carried bricks. Each job paid just enough to cover rent and food. Still, I saved a few dollars each week. My dreams were measured in envelopes, not hours. One evening, I was patching a ceiling when Liam walked in, holding 2 coffees. "You planning to live on ladders forever?" "Maybe," I said. "They get me closer to something better." He grinned. "Got a lead for you. My uncle's selling an old duplex cheap. Needs heavy repairs, but you could flip it? With what money?" "Partnership," he said. "You've got the skills." I got the loan approval. I hesitated. "Liam, if it fails, then we fail together." "Deal." I looked at his outstretched hand. "Deal." That duplex became our first battlefield. The walls were rotting, the roof sagged, and rats ruled the basement. "This place is a nightmare." Liam groaned. "Nightmares are just dreams in disguise," I said. "Let's wake it up." We worked for weeks. Hammering, painting, arguing, laughing. Every nail I drove felt like one step away from the pain Adam left me in. When we finally sold it, the profit was small, but it was proof. "You did it," Liam said, handing me my share. "We did," I corrected him. Mrs. Hayes beamed when I told her. "See? Kindness sticks." I smiled. "And so does stubbornness." She patted my shoulder. "That's a gift too, if you use it right." Years rolled by. 1 project became 10. 10 became 50. My name started appearing in renovation circles at Than Miller Renovations. One night, Liam raised a toast. "To the man who turned broken walls into gold." I laughed. "To the man who believed I could." I grinned. "So what's next?" "Something big," I said, staring out the window. "Something personal." He tilted his head. "You mean, yeah," I said. "Maple Street." He froze. "Your old house? That's still standing?" "I checked last week. Adam still owns it. But his business, not doing great." Liam whistled. "You thinking what I think you're thinking?" I nodded slowly. "It's time to take back what was mine, but not the way he took it from me." "You're serious?" "Dead serious." He leaned back, smiling. "Man, this is going to be one hell of a story." "It already is," I said quietly. "And I'm just getting started." That night I lay in bed, hands behind my head, staring at the cracked ceiling. The same ceiling I once thought I'd die under. Now it looked different, like a map of everything I'd climbed through to get here. I whispered into the darkness, "I'm not the boy who left home anymore. I'm the man who's coming back." "Morning, Ethan," Liam said, dropping a folder on my desk. "Got something you'll want to see?" I was halfway through my coffee. "If it's another fixer-upper, I'm skipping this one. I need a break." He grinned. "Not this one. Look at the address." I glanced at the paper and my breath caught. Maple Street, my old home. "This has to be a mistake," I whispered. "Nope," Liam said. "Foreclosure. Bank's putting it up for sale next week." For a moment, the world went quiet. I could almost hear the echo of my childhood laughter under that oak tree. "He lost it?" Liam nodded. Guess Adam's business crashed. You okay? I stared at the listing photo, the porch paint peeling, the windows dull. Yeah, I said slowly. Better than okay. We drove out that afternoon. The air smelled the same, like wet leaves and dust. The house stood at the corner, worn, but still proud. Liam whistled. Man, this place, it's got history. Every corner does, I said softly. That step there? I broke my arm jumping off it. Dad carried me inside. Liam smiled faintly. Looks smaller than I imagined. Or maybe I just grew up, I muttered. A car pulled up. A woman stepped out holding a clipboard. You must be Mr. Miller, she said. I'm Miss Clark, the listing agent. Yeah, I replied, shaking her hand. This is my associate, Liam. She looked at the house, sighing. It's a shame, really. The previous owner defaulted after months of trying to save it. I swallowed hard. Yeah, a shame. Inside, the floor creaked like it remembered me. This place needs serious work, Liam said. I nodded, tracing my fingers along the wall. I can fix that. Miss Clark smiled politely. Are you planning to live here or flip it? Neither, I said. I just want it. She tilted her head. Sentimental value? Something like that. We moved through the rooms. The kitchen tiles were cracked, the wallpaper yellowed. Yet every flaw felt sacred. Offer price is low, Miss Clark said. Bank just wants it gone. I'll pay cash, I said. Liam blinked. Cash. Ethan, I said cash, I repeated. No negotiations. Miss Clark's eyebrows lifted. Well, that'll make my job easier. She left to prepare the paperwork. Liam turned to me. You sure about this? You could buy 5 new houses for the same money. This one's not just a house, I said. It's everything he took. You're not doing this just to get back at him, right? I looked out the window. The old oak tree swayed gently in the wind. No, I'm doing this to take back who I was before he broke me. Liam nodded slowly. Then let's do it. At the office, Miss Clark slid the contract across the desk. Here we are. Buyer Ethan Miller Renovations. I stared at my name beside the address, the same name Adam erased from that deed 5 years ago. Everything in order? She asked. Yeah, I said, signing. My hand didn't shake. She smiled. Congratulations, Mr. Miller. It's officially yours. I exhaled, feeling something shift inside me. Not joy, not revenge. Just balance as we walked out. Liam grinned. You look like a man who just buried a ghost. Or like one who dug it up and gave it a proper goodbye, I said. Back at the house, I stood on the porch with the keys in my hand. The wood felt rough, but real. I pressed my palm against the door. You remember me? I whispered. I'm home. Liam leaned on the railing. So, what's next? Renovate. Yeah, I said, but slowly. I want to keep some of the scars. He laughed. You're a sentimental guy for a landlord? Well, I smirked. Maybe, or maybe I just like seeing karma up close. Miss Clark came by once more for the final inspection. You must really love this place, she said. I do, I replied. It taught me everything: pain, loss, patience, she smiled. Funny, most buyers talk about profit. I already made mine, I said, just not in money. When she left, I locked the door behind me. The echo of the latch sounded final, like closing a chapter. Outside, the evening light fell across the porch, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel small standing there. I whispered into the quiet street. You took it once, Adam, but this time I'm the one holding the key. 2 weeks after signing the papers, I was painting the front hallway when someone knocked. Probably a delivery, I muttered, wiping paint off my hands. I opened the door and froze. Adam. He looked smaller, shoulders hunched under a cheap jacket. Ethan, he said, blinking. Didn't expect you'd be here? I kept my tone even. Didn't expect you'd come? He shifted awkwardly. You own this place now? Something like that? He glanced around the porch. Figures. You always were the lucky one. Lucky? I almost laughed. That's new. He rubbed the back of his neck. Listen, I'm in a rough spot. Business went under. Claire left. I need a place for a while. Just until things settle. I stared at him. You're looking for a rental? Yeah, I can pay monthly. Just not too high. You sure you can afford any rent right now? He flinched. I'm not here to beg, Ethan. I'm just asking. I folded my arms. Why here? He sighed. Because this street feels safe, familiar. I grew up here. Thought maybe that counts for something. The irony almost made me smile. Yeah, familiar indeed. He frowned. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing, I said quickly. Follow me. Sighed. His eyes moved over the walls like a man visiting a grave. You fixed the place up, he murmured. Some things deserved saving. He touched the window frame. Dad would have liked this, would he? I asked quietly. He didn't answer. We walked through the living room. You, the landlord? He asked. Sort of. Who owns it then? I looked straight at him. A company. Miller Renovations Property Group. He frowned. That name Miller? Common surname? I said. He nodded slowly. Guess so. Rent's fair? Depends, I said. What can you pay? He told me an amount that barely covered taxes. I pretended to think. Fine. Month, 2-month lease. Utilities separate. This relief came out as a shaky laugh. Thank you. You don't know what this means? I might, I said. We stood there in silence. The ticking clock filled the space between us. So you work for this company? He asked. I manage a few properties. He smiled faintly. Funny. Never thought you'd end up in real estate. Life's full of surprises, I said. He exhaled. Listen, I know I wasn't exactly fair before. I raised an eyebrow. Before, he swallowed. With Dad's house. I made choices I'm not proud of. Kept my voice calm. Took you 5 years to admit that. Better late than never, he whispered. Maybe, I said, turning toward the paperwork on the counter. Sign here. He read the form carefully. You sure you trust me as a tenant? Everyone deserves a second chance, I said. Even the ones who don't. He gave a hollow laugh. You always talk in riddles. Occupational habit. When he finished signing, he extended his hand. Thank you, really. I shook it. His palm was rough, trembling. No problem, Adam. Just treat the place with respect. I will. He stepped outside to grab his bag. From the doorway, I watched him glance up at the house, like he was trying to remember the boy who once ruled this porch. Liam called just then. Everything okay? Guess who just moved into my house? I said. Don't tell me. Yep. A pause. You're kidding. What are you gonna do? Let him stay, I said. For now? You sure that's smart? I don't want smart, I whispered. I want closure. Adam came back inside carrying a single suitcase. Which room's mine? I pointed down the hall. Left. The one that used to be mine. He blinked. You lived here too? Long time ago, I said. You'll sleep fine there. When he disappeared into the room, I leaned against the doorframe, heartbeat steady but heavy. The house was quiet again, but the silence wasn't empty anymore. It was waiting like me. And as the night settled, I whispered to myself, Welcome home, brother. Let's see how it feels on the other side. Adam showed up 2 days later with a dented suitcase, a broken lamp, and a silence that filled the doorway before he did. Didn't expect you this early, I said. Got tired of the motel, he muttered. It smelled like regret, and you'll fit right in, I replied. He gave me a look, but said nothing. As he dragged his things inside, I noticed the tremor in his hands. Age had caught him, the kind of age born from guilt, not years. Rent's due first of every month, I said. Yeah, I know, utilities separate. I'm not an idiot, Ethan, smiled faintly. You sure about that? He scowled. You really enjoy this, don't you? What? Watching me crawl back. Maybe, I admitted. Or maybe I'm just curious how far a man can fall before he learns something. He didn't answer. He just set down his lamp and looked around. You fixed the heater. Fix everything that breaks, I said. He ran a hand over the windowsill. Still drafty? Some wounds don't close, I said softly. For the first week, we barely spoke. He'd pass me in the hallway, muttering about bills or groceries, and I'd nod. I watched him scrub floors, patch cracks, and curse under his breath when the faucet leaked again. One evening, I heard a small voice from the porch. "Dad, are you sure this is okay?" I turned and froze. A teenage girl stood beside him, nervous eyes, same dark hair. "Lily," Adam said, "this is Ethan. He's letting us stay here for a bit." She smiled politely. "Hi, Mr. Ethan." "It's just Ethan," I said. "Nice to meet you." She looked around. "It's cozy." Adam sighed. "He means small." Lily nudged him. "I like it. It feels like a real home." Her words hit harder than she knew. I forced a smile. "Glad you think so." Over dinner that night, she kept the conversation alive while Adam and I stayed locked behind walls of silence. "So you own this place?" she asked. "Something like that," I said. "Dad says he used to live on this street." I glanced at him. "Yeah, we both did." She looked between us. "Oh, you guys go way back then." Adam muttered, "Too far back." I laughed lightly. "You could say that." After she went to bed, Adam stayed behind at the table. "Don't start with me," he said quietly. I didn't say anything. "You didn't have to." I leaned back. "You brought her here. She needed somewhere stable." "Stable? You mean cheap?" "Say what you want," he snapped. "At least I'm trying." "Funny," I said. "That's what I told myself 5 years ago." Stared at me for a long time before standing. "You'll never forgive me, will you?" "Maybe someday," I said, "but not tonight." The next morning, I found Lily sitting on the porch steps, sketching the oak tree. "Morning," I said. She smiled shyly. "You ever notice this tree leans a little?" "Yeah. Used to climb it when I was your age." She laughed. "Bet your mom hated that." "She did," I said softly. "Said it'd teach me balance." "Guess she was right." She looked up. "You're nice, Ethan. My dad says you don't like him much." I hesitated. "Your dad and I have history." I figured. She said. "But people change, right?" "Sometimes," I said. "If they want to." Adam came out just then. "Lily, inside. Let Ethan work." She rolled her eyes but obeyed. When she was gone, he muttered, "Don't fill her head with ideas." "I didn't," I said. "She's got more hope than either of us." That night, I sat alone in the living room. The lamp flickered, shadows crawling across the walls. Every memory whispered from the corner's mom's laughter, Dad's voice, Adam's betrayal. But now, his daughter's laughter filled the same space. Somehow it didn't hurt as much. Maybe revenge wasn't about destroying someone else. Maybe it was about seeing what time could do to them, how guilt made them smaller, softer. Still, as I looked at the closed door of Adam's room, I felt the old ache return. I whispered, "You can fix the cracks, Adam, but some foundations never forgive." It was past midnight when I wandered through the house, the kind of quiet where even the walls seemed to breathe. My hand brushed the faded paint my mother once swore she'd redo next summer. She never did. Neither did I. The attic door creaked as I pulled it open. Dust swirled in the flashlight's beam. "What are you doing up there?" Adam called from below. "Couldn't sleep," I said. "Thought I'd check for leaks." He muttered something about ghosts and went back to bed. Maybe he was right. I climbed the old wooden ladder, the boards groaning under my weight. Boxers lined the corner of childhood packed in cardboard. I found the one labeled Mom's Things in her neat handwriting. Inside, I saw photo albums, a dried bouquet, and an envelope marked for my boys. My breath hitched. "You kept this?" I whispered. I sat cross-legged on the floor and unfolded the yellowed paper. My mother's voice seemed to rise from the ink. "Please keep the house for both of them. No matter what happens, promise me they'll share it. Don't let one feel forgotten." I read it twice, maybe 3 times, before the words blurred. My throat tightened. She had written this for Dad, and Adam must have found it. The ladder creaked again. "Ethan, you still up there?" "Yeah, what are you doing?" "Looking at something you should have shown me years ago." He appeared in the doorway, rubbing his eyes. "What's that supposed to mean?" I held up the letter. "You recognize it?" He froze. Where did you? It was in Mom's box, he sighed, leaning against the frame. I didn't think you needed to see that. Didn't need to see it? I snapped. She wanted us to share the house, Adam. You stole it anyway. He looked down. You don't understand? Then make me understand. He sat on an old chest, eyes distant. Dad always thought you'd leave. College, big city, some dream life. Me, I was the one who stayed. I thought if I could prove I was worth something, he'd finally look at me the way he looked at you. That's your excuse? It's not an excuse. It's the truth. I was scared, Ethan, scared of being nothing. I stared at him. You were never nothing. You just wanted to be more than me. He laughed bitterly. You had everything without trying. Mom's love, Dad's trust, everyone's pity. I only had ambition. Agreed, I added quietly. He met my eyes. Yeah, that too. The attic felt heavier with every word. The silence pressed down like dust. She wanted us together, I said. We gave her the opposite. She wanted peace, he murmured. I ruined it. For the first time, I saw the cracks beneath his anger. The lines under his eyes weren't just from age, they were from carrying guilt. You could have told me, I said. Back then, I was ashamed, he admitted. I thought if I kept it hidden, I could live with it. But hiding doesn't fix anything. No, I said softly. It doesn't. He rubbed his face. I lost everything anyway. Maybe that's what I deserve. Maybe it's what we both deserved, I said. We let pride eat the family alive. He looked at me. So what now? Now. I folded the letter carefully and slid it into my pocket. Now I keep what she wanted safe. For both of us. He nodded slowly. You really mean that? I do, I said. But forgiveness takes longer than words. As he went back down the ladder, I stayed a while longer. The letter lay warm against my chest, like a heartbeat from the past. I whispered into the dark attic, You tried, Mom. Maybe now we finally will too. It started on a quiet morning. I was making coffee when Adam burst into the kitchen, a crumpled envelope in his fist. What the hell is this? He demanded. I turned slowly. Good morning to you too. Don't play dumb, he snapped. Ethan Property Holdings. You own this place? I stared at the envelope. I must have left it on the counter the night before. Guess you finally figured it out. His voice cracked. You made me your tenant? I didn't make you anything, I said calmly. You came to me. You tricked me. I set down my mug. No, you tricked our father. You lied to him, took what wasn't yours, and called it fairness. He slammed his hand on the table. That was years ago. Years don't erase what you did. He glared at me, breathing hard. So this was revenge? You bought the house just to humiliate me? Humiliation wasn't the goal, I said. Understanding was. Understanding what? What it feels like to lose everything that once felt like yours. His face turned red. You think this makes us even? No, I said quietly. It just makes us honest. For a moment, he didn't speak. The air felt heavy, full of every word we'd never said. You think you're the hero in this story? He said bitterly. But you're not. You're just as cruel as I was. Maybe, I said. But I didn't steal a dying man's house. He stepped closer. You weren't there when Dad begged me to stay. You were too busy running away. I left because you left me no choice, I shot back. You made sure there was nothing left for me here. He pointed at the ceiling. Mom wanted us to keep this place together. I met his eyes. And you made sure that never happened. You found her letter, didn't you? I did, I said. And it broke me. She believed in both of us, but you only believed in yourself. He slumped into a chair, suddenly small. You think I liked doing it? I hated it every day after. But Dad never looked at me the way he looked at you. You were his pride. I was his project. That's not true, I said. It is, he said bitterly. You had the grades, the charm, the future. I had responsibility. I stayed, remember? When he got sick, who handled the bills? Who fixed the house? Me. And when he died, I wanted something to prove it wasn't all for nothing. I swallowed hard. So you took everything. I took what I thought I earned. You took what we were supposed to share. He rubbed his face. You have no idea what it's like to carry that kind of guilt. I do, I said softly. Because I carried the same thing for hating you and still missing you? He looked up, eyes red. You missed me? I missed the brother I used to have. The one who taught me to ride a bike, who shared candy under the oak tree? Not the man who chose pride over family. The silence that followed hurt more than the shouting. Even the refrigerator hum seemed distant. He finally whispered, so what now? You gonna kick me out? No, I said. You're staying for now, why? Because I want you to see what real ownership looks like. Not in paper, but in how you treat what's yours. He laughed bitterly. You sound just like Dad. Maybe that's not such a bad thing. Maybe not, he said, voice trembling. I poured him a cup of coffee and pushed it across the table. He stared at it like it was poison. You really planned this, he said. Bought the house, rented it to me, waited for me to find out. Didn't plan this part, I said. I just hoped someday the truth would show itself. Well, congratulations, he muttered. You win. It's not a game, Adam. It's a lesson. One we both needed. He ran a hand through his hair. I don't even know who I am anymore. I looked at him. Maybe that's the point. Maybe you get to start over. Meet my gaze, searching for anger. I only gave him honesty. Now, I said quietly, you know what it feels like to lose what you took. He didn't reply. He just sat there, eyes lowered, the weight of truth sinking in. For the first time, I didn't feel rage-only release. For days after the fight, the house felt hollow. No shouting, no footsteps, just the quiet drip of the kitchen faucet counting the hours between us. I told myself I didn't care, that silence was victory. But each night, that lie got heavier. The fourth morning, I heard a soft knock. When I opened the door, Adam stood there, eyes red, holding a folded envelope. I owe you this month's rent, he said. You're early. He tried to smile. Couldn't sleep. Figured I'd pay my debts before you changed the locks. I took the envelope but didn't open it. You don't owe me anything, that's not what the lease says. Forget the lease. He frowned. You're serious? Dead serious. He ran a hand through his hair. You're impossible. 1 minute you're punishing me, the next you're a saint. I'm neither, I said. I'm tired. He laughed under his breath. You? The guy who built an empire out of stubbornness? Empires crumble too, I said quietly. He sat at the table, the same spot where Dad used to read the paper. I keep thinking about that letter Mom wrote, he said. The one you found. I nodded. She wanted peace, and we gave her war. Eh? He looked up. You were right, you know, about me. About everything. I didn't answer. He kept going anyway. I spent half my life trying to prove I was better than you. Turns out, I wasn't even close. That's not what this was about. He shook his head. It was for me. Always was. The words hung between us like smoke. He reached for the envelope again. Take the money. At least let me do something right. Pushed it back across the table. Keep it. Fix your life. He blinked. You're joking? I'm not. After everything I did, exactly because of everything you did, I said. Revenge doesn't fix anything. I already got what I needed. What's that? Peace. He stared at me like he didn't believe it. You actually forgive me. I exhaled slowly. I'm trying. It's not a switch. But yeah, I think I do. He wiped his face with the back of his hand. You were always the better man. No, I said. Just the one who finally stopped fighting ghosts. He gave a shaky laugh. Guess that makes me the ghost. Maybe it makes you human. For a while we sat without talking. The morning light spilled through the window, soft and golden. He looked around the kitchen. You remember when Mom used to burn pancakes every Sunday? I smiled. Yeah, she'd blame the pan, not her cooking. Said one day we'd laugh about it. Looks like she was right. He stood, gripping the envelope again. I don't deserve this house. No one said you did. But you're letting me stay? For now, I said. Till you figure out where you're going next, he nodded. I'll start packing tonight. No rush. Take your time. He hesitated at the door. You ever think Dad would have been proud of us? Not for the reasons he used to be, I said. But maybe now. Adam smiled weakly. Maybe now. After he left the room, I sat back down, staring at the untouched coffee between us. The steam had faded, but the warmth lingered. That's what forgiveness felt like, warmth that stayed after the heat was gone. Outside, I heard him on the porch talking to Lily on the phone. Yeah, kiddo, he said softly. I think your old man finally did something right. I closed my eyes, letting the sound carry through the open window. For years I'd imagined this moment ending with shouting, with revenge served cold. Instead, it was quiet, gentle, almost sacred. I whispered to the empty kitchen, It's over, Mom. I let him go. And for the first time, I felt light, like the house had finally exhaled with me. Morning, Adam said quietly, standing in the doorway with a packed box in his hands. Morning, I replied. Didn't expect you to be up this early? He gave a tired smile. Couldn't sleep. Thought it'd be easier to leave before the house woke up. Lily peeked from behind him, her backpack slung over one shoulder. Hi, Ethan, I smiled. Hey, artist. You finished that sketch of the oak tree? She nodded proudly. Yeah, I'm giving it to you. She handed me a folded sheet. The pencil lines were soft but alive, branches, sky, and a little bench beneath it. It's perfect, I said. Thank you, she grinned. Dad says you'll take care of the tree. I promise I will. Adam set the box down by the door. We'll be out of your hair in a minute. You don't have to rush, I said. Take your time. He shook his head. No point dragging it out. I found a small place closer to Lily's school. It's not much, but it's ours. That's what matters, I said. He hesitated, rubbing the back of his neck. I wanted to say thank you. For letting me stay? For not throwing you out? I finished for him. He chuckled weakly. Yeah, that. You needed a place to start over, I said. I just happened to have one. He looked around the living room. It's strange. Every corner of this place holds a memory. Some good, some I wish I could forget. Same here, I said. Do you ever stop hearing them? The ghosts? I smiled faintly. They get quieter when you stop fighting them. He nodded slowly. You always had a way of putting things, and you always had a way of breaking them, I said gently. He laughed, a real one this time. Guess we're both still learning. Lily ran back in, waving her sketchbook. Dad, come on. Hold on, kiddo, he said. Say goodbye properly. She turned to me, hugging me tight. Bye, Uncle Ethan. I froze for a second, then hugged her back. Goodbye, Lily. Be good to your dad. I will, she said, beaming. When they stepped outside, I followed. The morning sun painted the street gold. Adam looked back once more. You sure you don't want me to pay something for the last month? I'm sure, I said. He studied me for a long moment. You're really letting it go, huh? I already did, I said. A while ago, he exhaled. Then I guess this is goodbye. For now, I said. Take care of her, Adam. I will. He climbed into the car. Lily waved through the window. I waved back, her drawing still clutched in my hand. As they drove away, the engine faded into the distance. Leaving nothing but the sound of leaves rustling overhead, I walked back to the porch, looking up at the old oak tree. The sunlight broke through its branches, the same way it did when I was a boy hiding from the world. I sat beneath it, unfolded Lily's drawing, and smiled. The house behind me was quiet, not empty, just calm. For the first time, it felt like it belonged to me again. Not because my name was on the deed, but because the weight was gone. I whispered to the wind, I'm finally home. The leaves rustled softly, almost like they answered, and I closed my eyes, ready, at last, to let the past rest.